If you've ever dreamed of walking outside in the middle of summer and picking a warm tomato right off the vine, one with that intense, juicy flavor homegrown tomatoes have, or you've tried growing tomatoes before and it just turned into a frustrating mess, this video is for you. After more than 20 years of growing tomatoes every way you can imagine, I finally stopped making it harder than it needed to be, and it really came down to 3 things. I'm going to show you all of them today, starting with the one thing that trips up almost every home gardener and the one change that makes growing tomatoes work for anyone, anywhere. The first thing is consistent moisture, which, if you're anything like me, it sounds great in theory until life gets in the way or it rains for a week straight. And that's finally exactly what changed for me with these EarthBoxes. They solve the number one thing that makes tomatoes fail, and they do it without you having to think about it at all. And I'll show you exactly how in a minute, but first you need to know why, because once you get this, everything clicks. Watering is everything for tomatoes, and the soil needs to stay evenly moist. Not soaked, not bone dry, and not drenched by a storm and then forgotten for 2 weeks. That back and forth is what causes most of the heartbreak people have with tomatoes. Blossom end rot, which is that black sunken spot on the bottom of the fruit, is one of the most common problems home gardeners run into, and it looks like a soil problem, but it isn't. It happens because the plant can't take up the calcium that's already there in the soil, and that comes directly from inconsistent moisture. The one thing I wish someone told me before I even tried to grow tomatoes is that once you get the moisture right, you're most of the way there. And growing in an EarthBox gets the moisture right automatically without you even having to think about it. And it also saves a ton of time. Now, if you're watching this and you want help figuring out exactly what actually makes sense for your specific space and you want to know what to plant and when, I offer one-to-one garden sessions, and the link is in the description. Now let's talk about the second thing. The second thing is this: pick a growing method that practically takes care of itself. 20 minutes to get going, and then it works with you no matter what life or the weather throws at it. That's the thing I kept missing for 20 years. I grew tomatoes on a deck in Michigan in one of those upside down tomato planters where you have cherry tomatoes growing down the bottom and then peppers growing on top. I grew jalapeno peppers on top. I wish I had pictures to show you. I actually made pepper jam from the jalapenos that year, and it was absolutely delicious. And that little experiment was where I fell in love with growing food in small spaces, and it's probably why I still believe that you don't need a big yard to do this. Then I moved to South Carolina, where I had more space, and I tried growing tomatoes in the ground. What I didn't understand quite yet was the red clay soil. I took my Clemson Master Gardener classes, and then I amended everything I could in that soil, and my plants still struggled. So I moved to raised beds, which helped enormously, and I still love them, and I grow almost everything in them today. Then I tried grow bags, which work really well for tomatoes, but they do dry out really fast in the summer, so they require a lot of maintenance as far as watering goes. And through every single method of growing tomatoes, the same problem kept showing up, and that's blossom end rot. Enough of it that I started to wonder if it was just part of the deal growing tomatoes here. But what I finally had to admit was I kept choosing methods that needed more from me than I could reliably give them. The right answer wasn't trying harder, it was finding something that didn't need me to be perfect. This spring has been one of the strangest ones I can remember since moving here to upstate South Carolina 13 years ago. We've had 90s in early April, we've had weeks with no rain, we've had really cool nights, and now we're back to 90 degrees this week with no rain in the near forecast. And these tomato plants have been thriving through all of it. So that's what the right method does. It doesn't ask you to control the weather, it just handles it for you. My best friend lives down in southern Florida, and she works on a family farm down there, and she's been telling me about these EarthBoxes for years. The man who invented them over 30 years ago actually started that farm that she works on. And a couple years ago, when Hurricane Helene came through and destroyed the farm's soil, they grew everything in EarthBoxes to keep the farm running. If this can handle Florida heat in the middle of a hurricane recovery, it can handle whatever your summer throws at it too. They were built specifically for home gardeners who just want things to grow without the constant guesswork, and they've been doing exactly that for over 30 years. And that means whether you're a total beginner or you've been at this for years, the guesswork is completely off the table for you. This is not a sponsored video. I bought 4 of these EarthBoxes, and I've got 2 tomato plants growing in each one. So the way that these EarthBoxes work is this. They sell everything you need to grow tomatoes as a bundle, which is exactly how I got started because it made the whole process feel a lot less overwhelming, even though I have years of gardening experience. And they're safe for organic gardening if you're like me and prefer to garden without the chemicals. You don't have to use EarthBox's soil and fertilizer, however. You can just look on the website and take note of the amounts and types of everything, and it's easy to find at any store that carries gardening products, like your local hardware store. Okay, so underneath the growing space, there's a water reservoir, and that's where your plants draw up exactly how much water they need, right where the roots are from the bottom of the container. So you're not guessing and you're not worrying about whether you watered enough this morning or whether last night's storm was too much for the plants. The plant takes up what it needs when it needs it, which means consistent moisture at the root level all the time without you having to manage it constantly. And that's how you prevent blossom end rot, and that's how you stop second guessing yourself every time it rains. This is also why this works just as well for someone who has never grown a thing in their life as it does for someone who has been gardening for decades, because you don't have to sit there and wonder if the soil is too wet or too dry. So getting it going takes maybe 20 minutes. You pack the potting mix into the corner wicking chambers first because that keeps the wicking system working properly, so don't skip that step. Then you fill the container part way, add the dolomite lime, then fill it the rest of the way with the soil, and then you make a shallow trench by the edge for your granular fertilizer, then just cover it back up, then you mound the soil slightly in the center, and then lay the mulch cover on top. Then you cut X's where the plants are going to go and just put your tomato plants in. That's it. The trellis that comes with the bundle goes up to 7 feet, which gives your vining cherry tomatoes all the room they need to climb as they grow. And then you just tie the stems up with the soft wire ties as they go. There are no cages to wrestle with and no stakes to pound in. To water, and this is a game changer because it saves so much time, you just run the hose down into the fill tube until water flows out of the small overflow drain on the side. And when you see that, the reservoir is full and you're good to go. Right after you plant, you do have to add a little bit of water around each plant from the top to help them not feel shocked in their new space, and that's the only time you need to water from the top. After that, in the first couple of weeks while the roots are getting established, you might have to fill the reservoir every other day. Once the plants are really producing in the heat of the summer, you might need to fill it once or even twice a day, but you're literally just running a hose into the tube. My 6-year-old loves to do the watering. Once a week, 1 teaspoon of the calcium nitrate additive goes right down into that same fill tube, and that's your blossom end rot protection built right into your weekly routine. 1 teaspoon, same day every week. I have it on my calendar so I remember to do it every Wednesday. That's the entire fertilizing schedule, and once you get it going, it honestly takes so much of the stress and guesswork off your plate. And the third thing is the plant itself. There's one thing worth knowing before you choose your tomato plants, and this connects directly to why this whole approach works so well for you. There are 2 types of tomatoes. Determinate varieties grow like a bush, and that's what I've got growing right here. They produce most of their fruit once and then they're finished for the season. And then there's indeterminate varieties, which I have a couple of those growing in these EarthBoxes too. They just keep climbing up the trellis and producing all the way until your first frost. Cherry tomatoes are almost always indeterminate, which means you're going to have handfuls to pick all summer long. The EarthBox handles both of these types of tomatoes beautifully, and the 7-foot trellis that comes with the bundle gives your indeterminate vining varieties all the room they need to grow up. If you're brand new to growing tomatoes and you want that feeling of walking outside and picking something all summer long, an indeterminate variety in one of these boxes is a really natural place to start. So let's think about August, just a few months from now, when you walk outside and you pick a warm tomato right off the vine. You bring it inside and you slice it. Maybe you make a tomato sandwich, or maybe you throw the cherry tomatoes into a salad or make a fresh bruschetta. Maybe you just eat it standing right there in your kitchen because you can't wait. And you grew that. You know exactly what's in it and what isn't. That is what this is really about. It's that moment, and this summer, you're going to have it. Tomatoes have a reputation for being fussy, and honestly, that reputation isn't wrong. But what I've learned after 20 years of growing them is that it's not the tomatoes that are the problem. If you get your setup right off the bat, you don't need a green thumb to grow them. So there you have it. 3 things that make tomatoes finally work. Consistent moisture, a method that practically runs itself, and the right plant for your goal. If this video helped you, please give it a like because it genuinely helps other people who need to find it. And if you're ready to start growing your own food and you want some extra help figuring out exactly what's going to work in your space, I do one-on-one garden sessions, and the link to book is in the description below. For now, I'll see you in the next video where you can get ideas about what to plant next in May.